Welcome to Tiger Wolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers.
David, what's Captain Crowbar up to?
I was not ready. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. All right, so I think three issues. 3 issues have come out since the last time we talked about good old, I can't remember how to say it in Spanish, and I just read it. Caputa Rojo, I think is how you say it. Miguel's Mexican. Anyway, so after finding out that Roy had died, Jason decides to go down to a good, wholesome southern town and finds out it is a lot worse than Gotham ever was.
Really?
Everyone in town is under the control of Underlife because they literally have all of the kids locked in a bunker and threatened to kill them if the people of the town did not do exactly what they say. Red Hood ends up fighting something called a Monday, which is basically a genetically engineered Solomon Grundy.
Okay.
Do you know who Solomon Grundy is, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't have to go into that. Batwoman shows up for reasons and helps Jason.
This sounds ridiculous. This sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Helps Jason fight the Mondays.
The Mondays? To fight the Mondays? It's him, Batwoman, and Garfield at it again.
In the middle of, after they get done with one fight and they're on the way to the next, she goes, she's like, look, I want to apologize. I didn't really know Harper that well, but he seemed like a good person. And Jason's like, look, me, I'm an asshat. That's his actual statement. I'm an asshat. But Roy, this world didn't deserve him.
So the Flash got rid of him for him.
Ow. So they finish with, he fights. Batwoman goes to get...
Who, David?
Yeah.
Who?
Batwoman goes to get the kids out of the bunker. Red Hood goes to confront the head in this area of Underlife, who is actually also a genetically engineered person. And she's like, you'll never get close to Solidarity, who's the leader. And he's like, look, I don't need a name. I just need an address.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
So she's like, and she tells him where to go. Some prison in Mexico. So Jason's like, all right, cool.
If there's just one thing I can do, it's get into prison.
Yeah, exactly. So Batwoman and her girlfriend give him a ride to the border. He hops the fence into Mexico, goes, steals a truck, pulls up at a gas station, asks the lady sitting on the outside, where's blah? She goes, oh, honey, you don't want to go there. He's like, look, I need to know. He gets there and he's like, now I see why she said I didn't want to go here. And this coming from Jason.
I was about to say, these people don't understand that Jason's not a real person.
Jason's response is, evil happened here.
Oh.
He can just feel it.
Oh, yeah, probably because of the whole Lazarus juices in his veins.
Probably. That, and there were skeletons.
There was a sign that said evil happened here.
There were skeletons and dead bodies hanging from things on the outside of the prison.
Well, yeah, that's how you warn people not to come in.
Exactly. Jason goes in.
Exactly.
He realizes someone's following him. He's like, I guess they'll make themselves known when they want to. This person following him is Wingman, which was actually one of Jason's code names when he was working for Batman Incorporated, which was something that Bruce did a while back. He basically monetized Batman.
I was about to say, he incorporated his
His alter ego.
His alter ego, because he already had the other one incorporated.
Yeah. And the name that he was going by was Wingman. So Wingman attacks Jason. He's like, look, you have to come back to Gotham. He's like, yeah, no.
One, no. Two, bit busy.
And then a brick comes loose from the wall. And then all of the bricks comes loose from the wall and just lay this guy out. And Jason's like, well, that's not creepy.
It's like, I don't remember doing that.
In the process, because Jason had ended up tied to a chair. In the process of them knocking dude out, they destroy the chair that Jason's bound to without hitting him. He walks through the hole, and there is just an arrow of floating bricks pointing in a direction. He's like, well, that's not inconspicuous.
I mean, sounds like an invitation.
So Jason goes.
Also kind of sounds like a GPS from a video game.
He's following, while he's walking through, he finds a dog, befriends the puppy, because
why not?
Murderers do that, I guess.
Are you talking about the dog?
Yes. Well, I'm talking about Jason. There's another murderer I can name that befriends animals and cares about them deeply.
Wolverine?
John Wick.
I mean, hold on here. That's different.
That's different.
You don't just go into somebody's house
and beat them up at night. That you can
and
get
kill
away with.
Their dog.
You just can't kill their dog.
Exactly.
That's where the line is.
Batman versus John Wick would be the best fight ever.
John Wick would win.
We're gonna find out. The third one's coming.
I know.
It's him versus the world.
Yeah.
John Wick versus the world. 7 Deadly X's. Oh wait, sorry, that was a different one.
So Jason comes into. He sees a former.
I'm sorry. It's just 7 people with dogs that he's owned lined up. It's like, and the last one it's his car instead of his dog. All right, continue.
So while he's following this dog around, because she's leading him somewhere, he finds a former Teen Titan that he knew, named Miguel, or Bunker,
Well, that explains the bricks.
Unconscious in a containment tube.
That doesn't explain the bricks, David.
I know. So, Solitary makes his appearance known. And he's talking to Jason like he's his son. Like Jason is his son. And Jason's like, all right, so you're the guy that's in charge of everything. Yes, and I was hoping to, at some point, Jason's like, yeah, whatever. Throw crowbar. And he's like, you missed me by a country mile. He goes, you're not what I was aiming for. Turn around. He's like, you don't want him out of that container for some reason. I want to see what happens.
So this container is the reason why solidarity.
Yes, solidarity. Blech.
Solidarity.
Yes.
Okay, those are very
how it's
different
spelled.
Words. Is able to manipulate bricks.
Yes.
Interesting.
He can also manipulate perception, like your perception of what's going on, which he screws up and tells this to Jason. He's like,
why
I could
would
be standing
you,
on
hold
your
on.
throat and
You
make
have
you think we were running through a field
one
of
trump
posies.
card. You have one trump card. You let them know after you've won the fight what it was that made them lose. Maybe if they're still alive, but if you're a villain, they shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well,
And if you're a villain fighting Red Hood, make sure he's triple dead.
yeah. So, he's like, fine, I'll just activate all of my Mondays to make sure he doesn't escape, talking about Bunker. And
All of the Mondays.
yeah, all of the Mondays.
The whole calendar.
All 52 of them.
The remaining ones of the 52. They already took out a bunch.
So, Jason's like, yeah. And Jason's like, yeah, all right. He turns and starts running off, and he's like, running away? He's like, nah, just getting out of the line of fire. So there he turns, bricks. His bunker's awake.
Yeah.
All right, so, he and Solidarity takes off running afterwards, and Jason walks up and pats him on the shoulder. He goes, dude, it's like, I don't know if you remember me. Costume's changed a bit, and that's, he calls him Red Hood in Spanish.
Yeah.
He's like, I remember you. You were never on very good terms with us, but Red Robin vouched for you, which was all I needed. He's like, cool. I got a favor to ask. He's like, anything. You just set me free.
Oh,
He's
fair.
like, help me I want you to take this place apart.
Bunker's probably like, my pleasure.
Yeah. Bunker's like, I can do that. What are you going to do? I'm going to go kill him. So Jason and the dog go after him. After S. They get down there.
Assumptively, the dog is Solitarius.
Assumptively, but the dog is helping Jason. So he's sitting there, he's talking to him, and he's like, he calls him Jason, and Jason's like, whoa. How do you know that?
You're not my mom. You don't call me by my Christian name.
He's like, how do you know that? And that's where he's like, I'm your father. And Jason's like, oh, really? You're gonna have to prove it. He's like, you have a tattoo on your right arm? He goes, what? No, you must be misremembering. And Jason proceeds to explain why his dad had a bat symbol tattooed on his right arm. It was a reminder of a hard-fought battle that he lost. His dad had a run-in with Batman because he worked for several of the overlords in Gotham. The final one that got him thrown in prison was working with the Penguin. But he had a bat symbol tattooed on his arm for it. And Jason reaches over and rips the sleeve down. There's nothing there. He goes, what? No, I know who I am. Jason goes, no, you don't. And the dog starts barking. He goes, good girl. Turns and throws his crowbar right into the guy's chest because the dog's perception was not screwed with whenever he used his powers.
So, but it was really him who he tore the sleeve on.
Yeah, he
shifted away. Yeah.
And the crowbar is just in him. And he's like, and he goes to leave, and he's like, you can't talk to your father that way. Is the last things the guy says to him as Jason's
So what if
away.
it was his father's mind in somebody else's body?
I think it was.
His goal wasn't to kill his dad, right? It was just to find his dad.
It wasn't even really to find his dad. He wanted to know what happened with his dad.
Well, he might know now.
Yeah, he might know now. It then shifts over to Seattle, which, yes, that's roughly where Roy was buried. He was not buried in a graveyard. He was buried on the top of a really hard to reach cliff because that's where he realized he needed to get clean. Yeah, okay, I'll let that slide. Writers don't talk to each other. I'll let that go. Jason, Wingman, and Miguel. Well, Miguel and Wingman followed him to Seattle. He's sitting there. He puts one of Roy's hats.
He just draws people into a team around him.
Yeah, like Batman.
Well, Batman kidnaps children and trains them to break into people's houses and beat them up at night.
He has one of Roy's old hats, and he sets it on Roy's tombstone. He's like, I never told you this when you were alive. I really hate that hat. He's like, look, I don't know who did this. I don't even care. But I promise, I'm stopping it. All of it.
What exactly do you think he's referring to?
I want to think he's referring to the senseless sacrificing of the good people, and the bad ones get to continue on.
Oh, that's what he's been trying to do.
Miguel looks at him and says, where to now, El Capitan? And Jason says, Gotham City. Wingman smiles because he was trying to get Jason to go back to Gotham any damn way.
Yeah.
And Miguel goes, I did not see that coming. But, whatever. The Teen Titans, I used to know, no, they're not a team anymore, so I'm with you. He's like, you three. He says three because the dog's still with them. You three, go ahead of me and set the table. What are you going to do, boss? I got a few things I have to take care of first. And that line is on the last page.
Interesting way of putting it.
He's going to go home to Gotham and take it over.
I mean, yeah. It's just interesting. He said set. That sounds like a mob boss type of let's do this thing to say.
The title of the next arc is The Once and Future Prince of Gotham.
Okay.
So I think Jason's regressed a little.
He's going to have to break a few knees.
Yeah. Well, as long as he doesn't, do what he did the first time and, kill 8 guys, take their heads off, stuff them in a duffel bag, call their bosses into a meeting with each other. They all assume the other called and then throw the duffel bag onto the table and go. Took me an hour to do that. Think about what I can do in a night.
All right. What else you got for us?
All right. So the X-Men are gone.
Oh, speaking of Blue Summers. Oh, wait, that was a different episode.
Interesting segue, unintentionally. The X-Men are gone. They're somewhere lost in the ether. Or at least, that's what we're going to say until we figure out what actually happened. I can tell you what happened, though. During X-Men Disassembled, when the Uncanny X-Men books reopened, or started back up, they started finding a bunch of Jamie Madrox's Multiple Man. Just going crazy. They couldn't figure out why. Then they finally found the Multiple Man? The Multiple Man. And apparently, someone had been holding him captive for weeks.
And he couldn't get back to himself?
No, what they were doing was implanting personalities of theirs into his doubles.
Okay.
To lessen the load on their mind.
Oh, is it who I think it is?
Probably.
So Multiple Man, the physical manifestation of what Legion's got going on in his head.
Yes. So while the main real X-Men are dealing with that, Legion shows up at the mansion and meets the X-Kids, basically. The next generation of mutants.
Oh, this is going places.
And Legion's like, I need to talk to, Kitty Pryde or, any of the adults. And they're like, yeah, none of them are here. And Legion's like, and he snaps.
It's like, so they just left you here alone?
He snaps and starts slamming his head into the floor.
Is his hair up or down?
Up to this point, it had been down.
It starts going up?
It goes up after he starts slamming his head into the floor. Come to find out, he's trying to save everyone from what's coming. And they're like, what's coming? And then there's an explosion.
He's like, that.
And there's Magneto, Omega Red, the Blob, and Angel. And they introduce themselves as the 4 Horsemen of Salvation.
Oh, that's not good.
And their grand leader, who had kidnapped a senator, who was very anti-mutant, Kitty Pryde, and Apocalypse, was Nathan Gray, the genetically engineered son of Cyclops and Jean by Mr. Sinister from the Age of Apocalypse timeline, who ends up jumping realms and ends up in the main continuity.
Notably missing something?
So.
Okay, just ignore the question.
What am I missing?
I know. Huh?
What am I missing?
Not you, him.
Oh, him? Parents?
different than regular Cable.
Oh, well, yeah, he doesn't have the techno-organic virus eating away at him, so he has all of his psychic ability, which you find out in a few seconds. So there's an explosion. Legion's like, nope, this isn't happening, and traps some of the young kids and Nate Gray in Legion's mind. Like, he drags them into his mindscape and makes them believe they have spent the last 9 months trapped in the Age of Apocalypse timeline. It has actually been
Legion.
5 minutes.
Legion. Okay, so apparently we didn't learn this in any of the other times you've done this. Do not pull people into your head. It does not go well. Sometimes they get back out. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Well, so Bishop is like, all right, look, send me in. You know, Psylocke, stab me in the head with your psychic blade and create a link between my head and Legion's head so I can go in and get the kids out. That is an actual quote from Mr. Spent Too Much Time in Dark Failed Timelines. Bishop.
Bishop with the M on his forehead?
Yes, over the eye.
Over the eye, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I never understood that. There's no M in his name.
It's to signify him as a mutant from the
he was
Days
branded.
of Future. Yeah, it's a branding from the Days of Future Past timeline, which Bishop is from. So Psylocke does that.
She's like, okay.
She's like, all right, wink. Bishop shows up, and that's when, the kids are like, it's been 9 months. And he's like, nah, it's been 5 minutes. And Nate happens to hear this. He goes, oh, I know where we are, and seizes control of Legion and all of his personalities.
That's impressive. That's his mom's level of power.
Yeah. And
that's not even
control of his body.
Notably stronger than Legion's dad, Professor Xavier. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have done the same shit to Legion that he did to Jean.
Just create a bunch of cells. Hey. Just create a bunch of cells and put the personality. Hey, Wolverine.
But not only that, but I'm pretty sure they've done that with Legion before too.
I think they tried to. So, start the Age of the X-Man, where Nate Gray has turned the world into a utopia where everyone is a mutant. There is peace across the galaxy.
And
Start
love
Voltron.
is outlawed.
Start Voltron theme song. But yes, love and personal connections are outlawed. There is no family. There is just the tribe.
There's no us. There's only us.
And during the alpha issue of the Age of X-Men, at the end of it, they find flyers and on the flyer says, come listen to us. You can love. It's not wrong. So during the first actual issue of it, Bishop is in love with Jean. They have repeatedly had intercourse, which they are not supposed to. And Psylocke from this alternate universe now, Bobby and 2 others show up at Bishop's house to capture him and excommunicate him, which they do. And he just vanishes from existence. No one remembers he existed. Nothing.
So he was pushed out of Legion's head.
Assumptively into a prison. And there's actually a book that's going to be coming out called X Prisoner or Prisoner X that has Bishop, Honey Badger, Beast.
Oh, God.
And 2 others that I can't remember. I can't picture them in my head from the cover, but I know those 3 are in that book. Nate slips up and tells X-23 she had a sister, but she is not able to see her. Which
Why would
X-23 almost, she draws her claws and goes to swing on him and stops. Does pretty much this like disgruntled look and turns around and walks away.
That dude almost got himself killed.
Yeah. So
he should know not to interact. Like, his family has a bad history of interacting with Wolverines.
family.
Just Wolverines.
So Jean has this like psychic backlash and she starts spouting words.
How is she in there, by the way?
I don't know. She starts spouting words from the flyer. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, what was that?" And she's like, I don't know. I got names, but I don't recognize any of them. Genesis, Kitty Pryde, Sabin Nayor, Apocalypse. In this alternate reality, Apocalypse is a hippie who's telling people they can love. I cannot wait for more of this story.
Hold on. So what you're telling me, though, is that he's basically, his core of being is just whatever is must not be, right? Like, because that's why he's known as Apocalypse, because he wants to bring about the apocalypse to the world. Hold on, no, just listen to what I'm saying here.
Okay.
He wants to bring about the world to apocalypse in the normal world. In this place, it's love that does that.
Technically, his entire philosophy is normally survival of the fittest. That's all he cares about. The strongest survive. At least in the comics.
In him, through giving him their powers.
So, in this reality, he is basically a tree-hugging, love is the way hippie. And like his design, which I will show you once we're done, is glorious. I cannot wait for more of this.
Okay. Is there anything like specifically pointful that's happened in this world yet?
Basically bishops being excommunicated means that Nate is still in total control of this world. He's manipulating all of the people in it. Which says a lot because he is manipulating Jean. All right, they refer to Wolverine or Logan as being dead, not being there, because Nate doesn't know Logan's still alive. Cyclops is dead as far as Nate knows. So in this world, Cyclops is dead. But in the real world,
I see where this is going.
Cyclops is alive. Logan is alive.
And they're the only ones that showed up to the party.
Yeah, and they're going to try to find and free the actual X-Men from Nate.
Okay. So that means anywhere else in the world, the other, like Jean and them could be. Nate just grabbed their minds from wherever the fuck they were.
Not just their minds, their bodies. He took all of them. All of them. And put them somewhere. Assumptively, he created a pocket dimension inside the 616 universe. Kind of how Legion did it in Age of X.
Which I think this is clearly based
clearly
off of,
a version of Age of X. Hence the Age of X.
Where's Xavier? Is he dead in all this? I don't know what's going on.
He's still alive.
Is he in the?
I haven't seen him yet, but to be fair, the alpha and the first issue of it have come out, and I got Next Gen, which is
this is pretty impressive actually for Nate, because in Age of X, all psychics were specifically held incapacitated so that they couldn't see through it.
Yeah, just comically enough, the one person who started to see through it first was the one who can't see things normally. Actually, that's not fair. He sees everything. It's just usually red.
Wolverine?
Cyclops.
Oh.
Because he takes the dog tags from everyone he kills and starts seeing.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, Kitty's technically the first person who starts seeing through it. But she gets locked away because of it.
Yeah. And then
Cyclops Scott's the reason it starts to come apart.
Yeah. Because they have the same name and same numbers.
I've killed this guy. What was it like? I've killed this guy 300 times or something like that?
320 times. But yeah, I like where this is going. But at the same time, I'm worried it's going to be it's got a good build-up. It's got a bunch of tie-in books. which has me worried because there's Next Gen, there's Prisoner X, there's one based around the team that Bobby's on, the people who excommunicate you.
Oh, do you think I have an idea of what might be going on. They're trying to get people geared up for X-Men.
Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care.
Bye.